The strange thing about AI is that it made labor more valuable and less valuable at the exact same time. Not for the same people, not in the same industries, not on the same timeline. The story you've heard is AI replaces jobs, humans lose, machines win. That story is real, but it's also incomplete. Because the more interesting thing isn't what AI is eliminating, it's what AI is repricing. Here's the public narrative. AI automates tasks. Tasks were jobs. Jobs disappear. Humans panic. And there's data to support this. Routine cognitive work, data entry, basic legal research, simple code, customer service scripts, all of it's being absorbed into models that costs fractions of a penny per query. A call center that once employed 200 people can now route most queries through a language model. A marketing agency that billed for 10 writers can deliver the same volume with 2. This is real. This is happening. And for the people whose jobs those were, that's the whole story. But there's another side, because for a different class of worker, AI didn't remove value. It multiplied it. One developer who used to ship features in a week now ships in a day. One analyst who used to prepare one report can now prepare 5. One creator who built an audience of thousands can now serve an audience of millions with the same amount of hours. The output didn't just increase, the leverage increased. And leverage, not hours, is what the economy is starting to pay for, which is a significant change because most of us were trained for hours. For most of economic history, the deal was show up, do the task, get paid for the time. That model made sense when every unit of output required a unit of human effort. You needed bodies to build things. You needed people to serve people. The work didn't scale without the workers. AI changes the denominator. Now, a single person with the right tools and the right positioning can produce something. A piece of software, a content system, a service layer. This serves 10,000 people without hiring 10,000 employees. Serving one more customer becomes almost free. This used to be called software economics. For a long time, it only applied to tech companies. Now it applies to anyone whose output can be digitized, automated, or distributed at scale. The uncomfortable truth is this: the economy is shifting from rewarding presence to rewarding systems. Hours are becoming a liability. Scalable outputs are becoming the asset, which works really well if you own the system, less well if you are the system. Here's a part of this story that doesn't appear in most economic analyses. Loneliness, not as a social problem, as an economic variable. Follow the data. Remote work reduced daily social interaction for a significant share of the workforce. Algorithmic feeds replaced shared cultural moments with personalized content streams. Food delivery, grocery delivery, on-demand everything reduced the number of low-stakes interactions humans used to have by default. The errand that was also a conversation. The commute that was also a crowd. These weren't just conveniences. They were the connective tissue of everyday social life, and they've been quietly optimized away. Now, here's the part that gets strange. Isolated behavior is remarkably easy to monetize. A lonely person at home is a highly legible consumer. They're not splitting attention with other people. They're not getting recommendations from friends. They're not filling evenings with free community activities. They're available consistently through a screen. Turns out, people will tolerate a surprising amount of loneliness if it's convenient. The economy increasingly rewards interactions that can happen through a screen. Real communities are inefficient. They require physical proximity. They don't generate data. They can't be personalized or monetized per interaction. The app is always available. Your friends are occasionally asleep. The economy didn't engineer loneliness on purpose. It just turned out that loneliness was very compatible with the systems that were already being built. AI companions are now a growing product category. Not because someone decided humans needed less connection, because isolated users who engage with AI products are easier to retain, easier to predict, and easier to monetize than users who have other options. That's not evil. It's just scalable. Nobody sat in a room and decided to make people lonelier so they'd spend more money on digital products. But here's where it gets weird. They didn't have to. Each individual decision is rational. A company reduces friction. Another improves personalization. Another adds a feature that keeps users in the app instead of leaving to meet someone for coffee. None of these are conspiratorial. Each one makes sense in isolation. But systems don't optimize for isolation. They optimize for retention. Retention happens to produce isolation. That's a side effect that doesn't show up on the income statement. Meanwhile, the labor market is running its own feedback loop. AI raises output per worker. Companies respond by hiring fewer workers. Fewer workers per output means lower labor costs. Lower labor costs means more competitive pricing. More competitive pricing means the companies that don't adopt AI fall behind. So even companies that would prefer to hire people can't without accepting a structural cost disadvantage. Most people don't notice systems changing until their paycheck does. But here's where it gets weird again. The workers displaced from those jobs don't just disappear. They become consumers. And their consumer behavior, especially if they're now remote, underemployed, or socially isolated, is extremely valuable to the same platforms that helped displace them. The economy didn't plan this. The economy doesn't plan anything. It just follows incentives. And right now, the incentives all point in the same direction. So, the policy conversation, universal basic income, gives everyone a floor. If AI captures the productivity gains, redistribute them. AI taxes charge companies for automated labor equivalents, use the revenue for retraining or social programs, shorter work weeks. If fewer hours are needed for the same output, distribute those hours differently instead of concentrating them. Data rights. Treat your behavioral data as a form of labor. If platforms profit from your attention and predict your behavior, you have a claim on that value. These aren't bad ideas. Some of them are quite good. The problem isn't the ideas. The problem is the speed. AI systems are compounding. Each model is more capable than the last. Each capability enables new products. Each product reshapes another market. The gap between what the technology can do and what regulators understand, let alone respond to, keeps widening. Unions exist, but most of the workers most exposed to AI displacement work in sectors that have historically been difficult to organize. Gig work, knowledge work, creative industries. UBI experiments exist, but scaling a UBI to match the pace of automation requires political will that hasn't historically materialized until after the disruption is already complete. The system doesn't wait for institutions. The institutions are still drafting comments on the previous system. Zoom out far enough, and here's what you're looking at. AI is not the cause of a new economy. It's an accelerant in an economy that was already moving in this direction. The shift from labor to ownership. The shift from presence to scalable output. The shift from shared experience to personalized consumption. These trends predate AI. AI just turned up the speed. What's genuinely new is the magnitude and the pace, and the way the same technology that increases leverage for people simultaneously reduces the bargaining power of others in the same labor market at the same time. The question isn't whether AI will affect work. The question is what we think the economy's for. Because if the economy is a system for distributing resources, then AI makes that system faster. If the economy is a system for organizing human purpose, then faster doesn't automatically mean better. And right now, the system is optimizing. It just hasn't been told what for. AI didn't remove humans from the economy. It repriced them.
Isn't that amazing?